Hello to everyone who joined us. Today we are having a great panel that is called In-App Advertising in 2025. Is it still a profitable venture? And I hope that we can answer the question, or at least share our insights on that later after the webinar. So this panel is organized by SocialPeta, and the partners of it is Bidmachine, Zorka Agency, AppFollow, and Tactile. And today we have a great lineup of industry leaders who will share their insights on the evolving in-app advertising landscape, key challenges, and the trends that probably will happen in 2025. And I will start introducing myself. So my name is Dianis. I'm the Professional Services Manager in AppFollow, and I have more than 8 years of experience of growing mobile apps and games, driving active users, improving conversions rate. And yeah, today I'm just happy to be a moderator of this session. And yeah, in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can ask them in the chat. And after our discussion, I think we will have a few minutes that we can answer to your questions. But first, I want the panelists to introduce themselves, and I will ask Summer to start to introduce herself, and then we can maybe go one by one. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Summer. I'm from SocialPeta. I'm in the business for over 1 decade, and SocialPeta is an ad intelligence platform who is also the main host for this panel. We existed for 9 years, and we specialized in ad intelligence analysis. We have over 40 global networks: Meta, TikTok, AdMob. Also, we have the marketing strategies on different advertisers. It's very honored to attend this panel. Also, I'm very glad to share some insights. That's it.
Thanks, Summer. Murat, can you be the next?
Of course, I can. Hello, everyone. My name is Murad. I represent Tactile Games. It's a mobile casual game development studio, and we've been around for quite some time. You probably might know the company for the games like Lily's Garden, Penny and Flo, and Simon's Cat. And as a representative of the casual mobile game genre, I have some experience working with mobile ads in terms of ad monetization, like in-app ads, and balancing that with in-app purchases. And myself, I work as a producer in this company and also running a small R&D studio in Cyprus.
Thank you. Karina?
Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Karina, and I represent a performance marketing agency, Zorka Agency. We are on the market for more than 10 years, and we are working with different verticals, like starting from gaming and ending with e-commerce, deliveries, taxis, and so on and so forth. So we have a huge experience in advertising as a whole, and also in in-app advertising. Personally, I work in marketing for more than a decade, I suppose, and I will be happy here to share some of our recent experience and also maybe later one.
Thank you. Kinga, can you please wrap it up, the introduction?
Hi. Well, thanks for having me. I'm Kinga. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships over at Bidmachine. So yeah, Bidmachine is a mobile ad exchange, and by now I think we work with almost all the top gaming publishers. So at least, everybody should know us here. And before that, I also built the publisher partnerships team over at Tapex. So basically, yeah, for the past 7 years, I've been working with publishers to help them maximize the revenue from their advertising inventory.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, as you can see, we have a lot of experience and expertise today on the panel. So I want to kick it off with the first question to all the panelists, and I hope each of you can give us your insights and thoughts on that. So the first question, like, how do you evaluate the current in-app advertising landscape, including like which are the dominant formats right now, what are changing trends, like challenges, and what are the opportunities for the apps at the moment? So yeah, I hope someone can kick off like our discussion with the
I
answer.
can start, if you don't
Okay.
mind, because I think I get this question every year when we discuss the in-app ads, and I think in general the in-app advertising landscape is as dynamic as ever, with several key formats and trends that matter the most. Rewarded ads is still the dominant format, especially in casual games, because I'm talking from the perspective of the game developer. And that's due to high engagement and revenue potential, because players, they willingly opt in to watch something and get stuff for free, whether it be like in-game rewards, some boosters, coins, whatever you can give away. And also it makes it less intrusive and more effective compared to interstitials, for example. And there's also an observable rise in playable ads and interactive ads, which offer more interactive experience, so you can get a taste of what the game is, like a teaser, or maybe get a misleading thing, which still works for UA well. And I think the main trend now is the something that is shifting is the hybrid monetization model, because before it was like you either do one or another thing with like some addition from in-apps if you do ad monetization or vice versa. And now a lot of studios shift to combining in-apps and ad monetization in a more tailored strategies for different like audiences, different markets, in order to maximize the revenue from both streams, from paying and non-paying users, I mean. And for some games, including ours, for example, the push has been strong, because if you take a look at our portfolio several years ago, there were no ads at all. And now we actually use a lot of formats. And of course, we have the same old challenges as usual with the privacy regulations, being tighter, balance of ad frequency and good user experience, ad fatigue. And the new trend probably would be integrating AI in different parts of this equation, from targeting to creative production. I think that would be my take.
Thanks, Murat. Who want to add something to that?
I can continue, because actually one of the things that we've been seeing a lot is, and all publishers talk about this, is it's the rise of the hybrid monetization model. Yeah, so publishers who would previously depend on one model are all of basically now are diversifying. And I think I saw a statistic now where I think 3/4 already of all the gaming publishers are actually already making that move. So I think that's something that we'll definitely see continue to spread. I think another thing that has also in the recent times changed a lot is the role itself of the monetization manager, right? Because I think right now waterfall has practically disappeared. Everything, like all demand partners have shifted or in the process of shifting to auction. So what was, the monetization manager used to be all about managing ad networks, their CPMs and their position in the waterfall. Like that part is totally gone. So what we see now is that they work much closer with the product team to to talk about placements, frequency, ad types, to have influence maybe on that. Obviously working with the product team to kind of maintain that user experience. And when it comes to challenging, the funny thing is, continuing kind of that auction dominance, is that when the auction technology appeared on the market, everybody was super happy, thinking that, oh, this will help us to maximize revenue, maximize CPMs. But actually what we're seeing right now is quite the contrary. So CPMs are at a quite low point. And I think monetization managers will have to look for more creative ways or even new technologies to increase those CPMs again. And when it comes to ad formats, I think here is where I see kind of least change from year to year. So for gaming, interstitials and rewarded videos are still the main revenue generators. I think for non-gaming, it's still more banner heavy, whether it's the small banner or the MREC. And new trends, yes, totally agree with Murat that we see a lot more playables, even though not everybody is implementing them, but we do see them more and more. And for non-gaming, I would say it's all about in-banner video. That's something that we're hearing more and more about.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Summer, Karina, do you want to add something to
Yeah,
that?
I can actually add a bit of perspective from advertising point of view, who are actually using monetization of games to promote their goods or their services. And I kind of agree that the landscape and the major players are kind of clear. They're not changing so much in the last like even 5 years. Like if, for example, we need to promote our advertising so via in-app channels, we definitely know to which channels to go, to which providers to go. And they're not changing really that much. And talking about ad formats, I kind of agree that rewarded formats are working the best together with interstitials. Yeah, that's true. But there is one like struggle that we always see with our clients with an app advertisement. It's about the price and the meeting business metrics and the KPI of this type of advertisement. And as I see that as the landscape of players is not really changing and formats are not really changing for an actual advertiser, but optimization models are changing rapidly because I see that future in-app vendors are kind of trying to implement the new AI strategies or machine learning techniques to actually provide this uh, meeting for their RTB auction and also for unit economics of the client, because nowadays I can definitely tell that sometimes in-app advertisement can be too expensive for some end marketers.
Thank you.
On top of that, because I also want to add some insights from SocialPeta, because we are a huge database, and we see like the trends and all the popular formats change from year to year. From the whole data we took like from 2024, that still like we know a video ads definitely the dominate, and it's like the 4 times of quantity of the whole image. However, in last year, we see like a video proportion decreased a little bit compared with the previous year. And meanwhile, like the image proportion was growing, and among all the image creatives, like the square specification image is like the most widely used format. And if we say like the video, because it still dominates, and on our database, we can also analyze like what's the length, what's the like the format, and the video between like 15 and 30 seconds is the most popular used one for almost like all game genres. So if let's say we think that this could also still be like a trend at least for the very first quarter. Besides, on SocialPeta, we can also see like the contents or the popular elements changed from time to time. They sometimes also evolved. Like for the very beginning of this quarter, some of the gaming creatives, they may use very weird like a view, like some ugly creatives, some featured people, a little bit like an unpleasant element to manufacture the creative and to improve like the like attractions. And another like popular trend we also see among so many gaming creatives, we call like the near-death experience. Because for example, at the beginning of this year, it's suddenly very popular. You can see so many creatives that it starts with like a sudden wake from a feeling of fall, which is like at the very first 3 seconds in a dream simulation video. So we see this like a creative inspiration is very popular. We reckon this is not a pure new thing. It's like something have used sometime many years ago. Now it just evolves in different like different formats. Another like formats of this near-death experience we see is one character in the video chased by a snake, and it gives you like some pressure. We also see this kind of video like in Royal Match or Royal Rush Royal. So from SocialPeta, those are the like the pretty popular formats and content.
Thanks, Emma. Thanks everyone for these insights. Definitely something interesting and something to follow in this year and in the future. And now I want to probably ask like each expert a question. I prepared. So first one will be to Karina. And for our attendees and participants, like I want to know that Karina is like experienced expert in mobile advertising, and she provided like some great insights when she released the white paper on in-app ads. And what I wanted to ask you, Karina, today, like, so when developing in-app advertising strategies with predicted ROI, have you observed any notable industry trends in recent years, and what strategic adjustments have you implemented in response to that? And maybe you can share with us a successful case study.
Yes, sure. Thank you for a question. Actually, I see that kind of a lot of clients of our agency behave kind of vulnerable during the past years because, as I mentioned before, businesses are trying to meet their unit economics and KPIs. And as there is not that much inventory in traffic in this world that brings actual conversions, um, businesses are kind of trying to use the current inventory in a smart way to understand like which campaigns and which ad formats can bring them the higher ROAS. So here I kind of agree with Summer and what she shared with about the increase of banners and kind of weird creative scenarios, because it's not about that. It's not like something to implement just to try, because for example we all know here that the most like profitable or engagement ad formats are like rewarded videos, playables, interstitials, but after all they are the most expensive. And for example, for the most advertisers, sometimes it's about not meeting their KPIs after all, because they're paying a too high price for the start of their funnel to meet their unit economics, like in the end, because of conversion rate and CPA they are getting. And also, it's about shifting to banners because, for example, banners are much cheaper. And of course, as we are all working sort of businesses here, we know that by the end of every year or every quarter, business is asking for more, like more profit, less expenses. So that's why it's really hard nowadays to maintain one complete strategy for all the in-app channels. And that's why some businesses are trying to use banners, some weird creatives, just to um, not like to make their advertising more effective in terms of branding or something like this, but just to optimize costs. Because when you're using banners, it's less expensive, and when you're using weird creatives, it's kind of you're pushing the engagement rate in not natural way to push people to go inside your product, and then let's see, maybe they will buy something via this. Who knows? Maybe potentially possible. So in our agency, sometimes, yes, sometimes we encourage some clients for experiments with creatives. Of course, not like murder or death connected type of things, but maybe something more funny, UGC related, to add a bit of brightness to a creative side. But also, we are always trying to push them to evaluate the traffic in terms of LTV and ROAS they are getting, because several years ago, we've seen like a huge shift from businesses to affiliate marketing, because businesses were fascinated. So it's actually possible. I'm just paying that little to get an actual conversion. And only nowadays, businesses are more and more kind of aware that, for example, 50 to 70% of these conversions can be fraudulent. Let's start from this. It can be like cannibalized organics. And later, it can be something different, like more or less the least expensive audience that will like generate only one conversion, and then they will die inside the product. So we are helping our clients to actually predict the LTV they can get from this more expensive video ad format. So, for example, we are having a product inside called Zorka Prediction that is helping to build a prediction based on the like golden standard of a cohort, which actually generates the higher LTV, the higher ROAS, and optimize and look at the all new campaigns from this kind of perspective, not like seeing CPA $10 and panic directly and stop all the activities. So actually, I see that the global trend and the global goal we are having is to inter-educate each other in terms of how the things are working, how it should be implemented, how campaigns should be optimized, how in-app world is actually working, but also learn from our business partners about how the business is actually working, how the unit economic is formed, and also take this into consideration, because nowadays sometimes these two worlds are not meeting together.
Thanks, Karin. Thank you. Yeah, at this point, I want to share some numbers, and maybe Summer can also explain some of that, or try to find like some explanation to what's happening with the in-app advertising market at the moment. So according to AppsFlyer reports, despite a decline in-app purchases in Q2 in 2024, the market share of in-app advertising increased by 4%. That shows us that the ad monetization is still like highly competitive market. And maybe, Summer, you could share some insights on the development trends in both like in-app purchases and in-app advertising. And based on that, like, what do you think will be the dominant formats and content for in-app advertising in this year?
Well, thanks for your question. To be frank, considering like you quoted like the data from AppsFlare, I assume maybe like people who from AppsFlare would be like the perfect one to explain this. However, I can also like share some personal insights. Like from my perspective, because we see like the hybrid trends for both like monetization methods is very popular. The reasons like Miss Jinga, she just mentioned, this kind of like a combination is more stable and can definitely be more diverse for like the developers comparing with just one single monetization method. So definitely in this year, so to follow the trend of like hybrid game genres, and the hybrid monetization will also be very popular in this year. And from my perspective, as far as we can see now, like lots of like AI related apps like are coming up in this business. for them, the most popular monetization is IAP methods. And for those IAP models, we reckon the subscription model will keep growing in this year. And besides, if we say for IAA, because you also mentioned the proportion for IAA in last year increased. If we talk about the formats, and I think two experts also mentioned from my perspective, the popular formats will be rewarded videos and also playables. Reasons are very obvious. For rewarded videos, they can be very they can encourage the viewers to voluntarily click it, because you can get the coins, get the rewards, or I believe in certain apps they can even withdraw cash. So which means the viewers will barely resist them. And another popular one for games, I think apparently is playable ads, because you can clearly see that the playable ads can be very entertaining and can demonstrate the most attractive gameplay in this video or in this HTML5 HTML creative. And also we see this from the data. For example, for gaming specifically, the playable ads for the 7-day retention can be around from 10% to 20% averagely. That's why from my perspective, playable ads will still be a popular formats in this year.
Thanks, Summer. Thanks, Summer. Definitely, these trends are the ones to follow these years. So now I want to switch to the topic that we already touched a little bit. And this topic should be discussed regarding anything related to the mobile apps, to the app marketing and so on. It's definitely AI. So here I want to hear Kinga thoughts on we already touched upon leveraging AI for in-app advertising creators and so on, and for monetization. So how do you think AI can help in-app advertising to effectively enhance monetization, and in the meantime maintaining an optimal user experience at the moment?
Yeah, well, thanks for the question. It's that I think when it comes to AI, there's definitely two aspects of leveraging this technology to your benefit. So the first one is basically all about efficiency, right? Automating processes, things being less manual, more effective. And this is definitely crucial when it comes to larger publishers or networks who see basically billions of ad requests, millions of ads being processed on a daily basis, right? So here we're talking about, I don't know, ad quality control, maybe fraud prevention, or the whole ad ops process being more efficient. I don't know, we can also add onto that maybe customer queries, customer insights, some analytics. And this part, I kind of have a feeling that it's more known, right? I think here many publishers have implemented aspects of this. There's lots of third-party companies that help us with this kind of implementation. So that part, I think, is more understood. However, the second part of AI, I think, is even more important, and this one that will be more that will extend more this year and in the coming years, which is all about doing things smarter, right? So a smarter and a more predictive optimization, leading to a higher yield than basically other technologies could. So what are we talking about here? it could be maybe AI creative generation, right? Leading to more improved performance. It could be even more, maybe some predictive revenue forecasting, giving monetization managers more tools. It could be also about maybe recommendations for revenue growth. Some based on some analysis on, I don't know, missing ad formats, or a series of those kind of recommendations. So the applications are definitely various. From like a Bidmachine perspective, I would say like things that we're already doing is, well, AI helps us definitely a lot. And here I would mention two things mainly. One is about the CPMs, so trying to get the highest CPMs for our publishers. And obviously the technology is adopted in various ways, but one example I can give you is, for example, predicting which demand partners are willing to fight more for specific users, right? Kind of finding those pairings and then getting the highest CPMs for those users that can have a major effect on the overall revenues. So kind of maximizing the revenues or the CPMs for those maybe highest value users, as we would define them. So that's, for example, one way. And another aspect also where AI helps greatly is doing smarter rendering. I mean, rendering done wrong and can have a very detrimental effect on your advertising revenue, especially if you monetize a lot with formats that contain video. So it can lead to lots of missed opportunities of impressions that in the end could happen, but in the end never happened. So using AI to help us do smarter rendering helps us to take more advantage of those possible impressions and really increasing the revenue this way.
Thanks, Kinga. Thanks a lot. Osama, I saw a question in the chat. I think if we have enough time, like we will definitely discuss it. So in the meantime, I want to ask the next question to Murat. So as a leading mobile gaming app company, can you maybe share some insights on the global in-app advertising performance and just the differences between and across various markets? And additionally, how do you think what is better, like ads or in-app purchases monetization for the most apps?
Let's do them in two parts. So for the second part, ads versus in-apps, I think we already covered that like many times, that we're going towards hybrid. Like there won't be one or another strictly, at least for the major game publishers. But let's take this step by step. So for the first part, like we see that in-app advertisement, or like ad monetization, as we call it, from this side of the table, it's still like an important revenue stream, and it's risingly important for us. But you can see that the performance, it varies depending on different aspects, like mainly regions, due to economic conditions, like user behavior and spending power, local regulations maybe, and available networks, of course. So in markets such as United States, Western Europe, Japan, ad revenue tends to be higher due to greater user spending power or purchasing power, and also higher CPMs. And also due to well-established advertisement ecosystem, you can get some premium ad campaigns there. So those geos, they remain like high-value markets for us, and it's like #1 priority, to be honest, with strong advertisement demand as well. But user acquisition costs, they are rising there, of course, so it's like other side of the coin. And privacy regulations, they also continue to affect the effectiveness, especially in US and EU. But if we take a look at the emerging markets like MENA region, South Asia, India, Latin America, like those regions, they experience rapid growth in mobile gaming, but typically they have lower CPMs. mostly because the lower purchasing power for the players. But they provide kind of like quantity over quality, and due to the high volume of impressions, it can compensate the lower rates in some cases, at least. And in these regions, players are usually less inclined to in-app purchases, so they prefer to integrate or interact, with ads, making that the primary revenue stream for those regions. And as for the second question about the ads versus in-app monetization, despite the talk about the hybrid that we already mentioned, I think it often depends on the genre and the audience that you're working with. Because, for example, in one of my previous companies, I was working with mid-core mobile shooting games that were developed mainly for, let's say, teenage audience. And that type of audience, they don't have a lot of money to spend, but they have a lot of spare time. So obviously, they prefer to engage with ads opposed to the in-apps. But in casual games, like the ones that Tactile is working on, monetization actually tends to be more effective because a large portion of players prefer free stuff, and you get more out of each impression because of CPMs, because of the quality of the audience for the advertisers. We try to strike the balance between hybrid, like the balance of hybrid monetization, I mean, between in-apps and ads, focusing on rewarded video rather than interstitial heavy strategies, because this approach ensures that we are not overly reliant on one revenue stream and we can adapt to different player behaviors across markets, and also depending on where they are in the funnel, because sometimes it's better for the user experience and easier to convert if you put like the ad placement there. Sometimes it works better for the in-app purchase. And that's exactly brings us to the point that Kinga mentioned, that now ad monetization managers, they kind of transition into product specialists more than just purely working with ad inventory. Like we have a dedicated ad monetization team led by my good colleague Eric, and they do a great job combining the good user behavior and like best practices coming from game design perspective, also with best practices for like engaging placements and formats for different audiences. And it's a combination of those two worlds. And I think that's the main thing from human perspective. Like if we put AI aside for a minute, for this year, that the teams need to develop this expertise where you can combine the ad monetization insights that we've been relying on for the like past several years with game design and UX, and then try to find the balance there. So there's no clear winner between in-apps and ads, depends on the context. And also it's great if you can combine both in your product.
Thanks, Barak. Thanks. Great answer. So I want to wrap it up with one final question from me, and then we have a few of them in the Q&A. So I hope you can give your answer in 2-3 minutes. So my question will be like, if we talk about this year, 2025, sorry. So what will be your one key prediction for the future of in-app advertising? So maybe Murat, you can also start with your prediction, and then we can go one by one to answer.
Sure. Well, probably besides the things that we already mentioned, like the increasing reliance on AI-driven ad targeting and creative optimization. Again, like as we already discussed, we see that many mediation providers, they forget that waterfall is a thing because it's not as efficient as before, and we try to go smart. And like smart bidding, contextual targeting with some maybe AI-driven predictive models or whatever it works under the hood, I think that would be the way to go for this part of the industry. I guess it makes sense as we move away from old user tracking methods with all the privacy regulations that we rely on this more. And there's a chance that ad formats will evolve as well toward high engagement and personalization. I mean, we already have some ad formats that like tend to be called alternatives to classic rewarded video interstitials and banners. Like there are in-game ads where like you see the ad integrated in the context of the gameplay, or audio ads. But I think there is still a room for more innovation there, especially with integration of Gen AI and LLMs. And for game developers, this might open some opportunities from both sides. I mean, as implementing ads in your game and also as advertising your product in other games.
Thanks, Mark. Who want to give us a prediction next?
Actually, I kind of agree with Murat, but also I would pay attention on that not everything is that clear nowadays in-app advertising. So, for example, working with clients and also reading some more or less current news, we are paying attention that maybe, just maybe, all the traffic sources which are sourcing in-app placements for our agency clients could be considered as black box advertising because, for example, we sometimes we see in tracking systems this quality of traffic these sources are providing that is not possible to meet any KPIs, and it can be lower than even going to affiliates. So yeah, if you're talking about something clear, trustworthy, and well known, yeah, creative optimization, trust to the algorithm using AI to measure creatives performance and generate other creatives because it's a thing now, and I have several cases how it can be implemented even today, how it's going to work in long-term perspective. Also, predictive models and optimizing towards ROAS and LTV, and not trying to build your business strategy on this current month or on this current quarter, and to see a situation as a whole for a business for half a year, maybe a couple of years. But also, I see the strategy in analyzing everything separately, not under one potential algorithm. Because, for example, as I mentioned before, totally see some lack of trust for in-app traffic, no matter if we're talking about affiliates or we're talking about huge. Industry players, because statistics speaks for itself and current news they speak for itself. So I feel like that analyzing each in-app source separately, building like AI prediction separately, and establishing like ROAS targets and CPA targets for every source separately can be a key for this and the next year, because I don't see any more like unified approaches. For example, like organic behaves this way, like OEM traffic behaves this way, affiliates this way, or in-app this way. For me nowadays, it's more or less clear that everything is totally mixed. It's totally a black box, and everything should be analyzed separately in order to mix KPIs and not to be fooled being inside this black box, because we also should keep in mind that we are talking about monetization partners who are also, on the other hand, they are the most like important SSPs for in-app traffic in the market, but they're also businesses. Their target is also to grow. And as we know how traffic can be manipulated, and if we're opening like site IDs in the app store from like affiliate or from some well-established in-app source, I don't see any difference anymore actually in the data. So I feel like data and analysis is the key in this year, and a bit less of trust.
Thank you. Thank you. Inga, do you want to be the next one?
Yeah, well, I definitely agree with Murat and Karina with what they were saying. And when it comes to key predictions, maybe we've already mentioned about the hybrid, about AI kind of being more adopted. So I'll leave that to the side, to the one side. For 2025, I kind of wanted to mention also two things that we haven't talked about. So one thing I think that at the end of 24, I've started to see a little bit is finally kind of brands shifting into gaming as well. So I think for a long time, I think gaming publishers have wanted to diversify their demand partners, their advertising, not only depending on performance, but also having that brand advertising as well to equalize that revenue balance. However, brands, they've put some budgets into non-gaming in-app, but the gaming in-app, they have always kind of seen it as the niche gamers, as very niche consumers, and obviously it hasn't been like that for a long time. And I think they are finally starting to see that. And I hope that in 2025, I think we will definitely see more and more budget kind of being shifted into in-app gaming as well. Once they, start to shift that mindset. So that's one thing. And the second thing is that I think we're also going to see a start of publishers putting some focus on zero-party data strategies. So with, to kind of adapt to the evolving privacy landscape, right? So unlike the first-party data, which is based on data being collected based on users' behavior, zero-party data kind of refers to the users willingly and even proactively giving sharing their data, and obviously it's usually done in exchange for some kind of value, right? Whether it's some in-game rewards or premium content or ad-free experience. So I think that that might be, from the publisher's perspective, a way to kind of navigate around all of the privacy restrictions that they've had, the advertising world has had with ATT and so on.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Summer, will you be the last one to share your prediction?
Well, yeah, it's pretty, informative, just hearing all the sharings. And I would also recommend that AI is definitely one of the the must-have technology among your marketing team. Most of today's sharing talking about AI prediction. From our perspective, one of the most important capability you need to have is AI, a creative manufacturing. AI, you can directly use AIGC massively generate ad creatives, because in last year we see overall the new creative took about 55% among all the active ads in last year, and it increased by around 2 points. 2 points comparing with previous one. So definitely we reckon AIGC contributes to this trend. And this also reflects the fact that for single ad creative, its lifespan definitely decrease. And so it will request that the advertisers should be super dynamic, and they need to update their ad creatives and marketing strategies very often to make sure they can survive in the markets. And also another reason we reckon you must have any to certain you can input your scripts scripts to optimize it in DeepSeek or in a ChatGPT, then plus some AI video this can really and massively improve the efficiency for a designer or even a campaign manager. They can produce video ads very quickly. Another reason is we see like some advertisers, they already trying to improve like AI ads in their campaign. In last year, we even noticed that for certain advertiser, maybe around 80% of their ad creatives are AI made. So like yeah, if let's say to sum up like our prediction or my prediction, like you need to like really be aware of those like AI tools to produce ads. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Samus. Thanks a lot. Thanks for all the answers today. We had a few questions in the Q&A section, but I think in the Q&A section, Murad already gave a very detailed, like, great answer to AppHas. And the same, like, we had one more question from Osama in chat, but I think it's also like that the answer another of our attendees and participants gave to it is good, is accurate. So I think at this point we can wrap it up our session if we don't have any additional questions from the viewers today. So once again, thanks a lot for all your insights. It was definitely very insightful and interesting for me because I'm not so deep like into this topic as you are. I'm more like on the level of organic traffic, organic user acquisition, and so on, and like less into monetization. So today's session was definitely great. So thanks everyone who participated today, and everyone who watched us. So okay, cool. Yeah, once again, thanks everyone. Thanks for your knowledge sharing. And yep, have a great day, have a great week, have a great weekend, everyone. And yeah, see you.
Yeah.
See you somewhere sometime. Thanks
Thanks
everyone.
for organizing and inviting to participate and everything and everybody for participating.
Thanks for having us. Have a great day.
Yeah. Have
Yeah,
a
have
good
a good day.
Thank you.